What's up guys, Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I'm back with another Dungeons & Dragons accessory review. This time, we're talking more about Gale Force 9, but we're not talking about spell cards this go-round, we're talking about magic item cards. If you weren't aware, these came out relatively recently, and they follow the same format as all Gale Force 9 cards do. However, they have art on one side and information on the other side regarding a magic item. This covers all magic items, at least non-artifact level magic items contained within the Dungeon Master's Guide. So let's go ahead and get a little bit closer here. So here you can see is our favorite tuck boxes. So far, this one is still staying together, though who can say for how long. Inside, you get a deck like this, and you know, this one's in the plastic still, and then here's the other one. I just happen to have opened one, and we can take a look. So, as you can see, right off the bat here is the Adamantine Armor. It has a picture on the one side. However, I will tell you that not every piece of art is unique to the given item. So we'll go through and we'll see some other items that have the armor listed, and they'll have the same one here or certain other things. So we flip it over, and we can see at the bottom it has armor, medium or heavy, but not hide. And then we have Adamantine Armor. It lists the rarity there. That'll show up. It says uncommon. And then you can read the actual text. The suit is reinforced with Adamantine. Artist substance in existence. While you're wearing it, any critical hit against you becomes a normal hit. So there we go. Second one is the Alchemy Jug. And believe it or not, it actually has enough room on the card to contain the entire list of everything that the Alchemy Jug contains. And it says just wondrous item down here on the bottom, rather than saying armor. And you can see again, we have the Amulet of Health. But again, if you recall, most of these are in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but they're along that top piece, or maybe even in a couple pages before where all the magic item tables are. So there is art for most of these. And here we can see that this one, if it focuses in, says requires attunement right up there. Oh man, come on. Put my finger back there. Requires attunement. So you can see that they say they require attunement if they do. And then basically, I don't need to go through all of these, but you can see that we have the art. Here's all the amulets, animated shield, apparatus of qualish. See, now these ones have armor of invulnerability, armor of resistance. These have specific art for them, but you can see the armor of vulnerability. So here's another little issue. So the armor of vulnerability here, this has the same art as the Adamantine Armor. But why does the arrow-catching shield have a picture of an armor? I get that there's a little shield over here, but it's also listed under here as weapon shield, so you think they would have generic weapon art, or generic shield art at the very least. So again, arrow of dragon slaying, here's all the different bags of tricks, beans, belts, belt of giant strength. Here's our berserker axe, which has its own art, boots of elvenkind. But then the Boots of Speed... Oh, Boots of Speed do have different art. It's just... Boots of Levitation is a book with a wand and a scroll, which I don't understand. Again, listed as a wondrous item. So let's keep going. Boots of Speed, Striding the Spring, Winterlands, etc. So we're already... Now we're into the Bracers of Defense here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I just wanted to showcase that there is some art. Like, I don't recall seeing a Broom of Flying art. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but that's there. Ah, see? Okay, so Cap of Water Breathing. So wondrous items, if they don't have specific art, use this scroll art. You know, you would have think they could have come up with something better. This is not Gale Force 9's fault. This is probably Wizards' decision, in my opinion. Also, the Cape of the Mountebank, I never really... It's probably right in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and I never noticed it, but why... If it's a cape, why does it have a hood? Isn't this a cloak of the Mountebank, if you think about it? But again, some of them you may not realize that they have specific art. Like this is I think a rug of smothering art for the Carpet of Flying, but Chime of Opening, here's some more cloaks, right? This is actually the same cloak art they use for Puafuis in Out of the Abyss. Displacement. My favorite one though, by far and away, is the Cloak of Invisibility, and it's just a blank page, and I love that. And again, here's all your text about it. So what can you expect from these? As I'll continue to go through these cards as we continue to discuss. So they are your Gale Force 9 typical cards. They have that heavy card stock with the laminated finish that's water resistant. They have the nice rounded edges that came from the newer ones. And again, you're not going to get cards for things. Obviously, you won't get anything for anything homebrew. I don't think I need to say that, but, you know, I'll just throw it out there. But you're not going to get cards for, like, +1 items. All right, we didn't see +1 armor. We're not going to see +1 weapons. But... okay, so this is what I was hoping to get to. So here for the Cube of Force, we have a large bunch of text here, but at the very bottom, we have see page 160 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. So not all of the information is contained on these cards, but if you look, like this is the crystal ball, and it covers all 3. So you can get a bunch of info on these cards because they don't have to have that little block at the top for all the information that the... what's it called? That the spell cards have, so you can go ahead and get more information on these cards. So, but some of them you will have to refer to your Dungeon Master's Guide for more information, but for the majority of what you've got, everything is contained here. And again, like I said, like if you didn't know, the Dagger of Venom had its own specific art. There it is. Same thing with the Dancing Sword. So, look, here's the Defender Shield, looking pretty cool with a little shield there. Demon Armor. Dimensional Shackles. I will remind you, too, that when you get these cards, go through them at least once, because the first time you get a set of these cards, they kind of do this, where they stick together because they're new and they're fresh and the laminate's fresh, so you got to go through and peel them apart. But yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. I don't have a lot to say about these cards other than they are pretty cool. I'm a fan of them. It's definitely, you know, I mean, it's nice to have these. It's also cool to give your players, like, a physical thing. Like, here, you just got a figurine of Wondrous Power, Ebony Fly. And I believe this actually does, yeah, so it does actually fit the majority of the text of a figurine of Wondrous Power, and then the last paragraph is the specific to it. Again, it also gives you the page reference for the specific thing. So this is all figurine of Wondrous Power, and then the golden lion statue. Now the real one will be the goats, because yeah, so it says each goat's stats can be found, and to flip to that specific page, because there are 3 goats and information there to be found for each one. So again, let's take a look at something like the Flame Tongue, right, which is multiple weapons. So there you go, weapon. Any sword. So you would basically need to get the specific stats for your item, you know, and write them down. So like I said, I just wanted to flip through these to show you guys, one, if you're unaware that these exist. There's also monster cards, which are coming out or may actually even be out. I'm going to reach out to the folks at Gale Force 9 to see if hopefully I can get a copy of those. Like, I didn't know the Hat of Disguise had art, and it looks like this. That's pretty cool. So, again, some of these, which I'm pretty sure they may exist in the DMG, but I don't remember seeing them. So it's just cool to see the art, right? Oh, so this one got pushed out of order. So we've got some helms here that I recognize most of these. Holy Avenger, Horn of Blasting, Valhalla. Force Issues of Zephyr, Immovable Rod, and then we get to the instruments of the Bard. So you're going to start having... They've got art for all of the different instruments, which I don't know if all of them had specific art in the book, but they have them all here. Here's our Cittern goes in here. Harp. And then we can see, so our Ioun Stones are just going to be generic art for all the Ioun Stones. Flip through that. The Iron Bands of Bolero. And then you get the point. So... got one of lightning. So again, like I said, some cool stuff. You might find art for things you didn't realize had art previously, which is a neat thing to have. Most of the manuals have similar. Actually, no, look at that. The manual of the Golem of the Flesh and Iron Golem and Stone Golem, they all have specific manuals, which is pretty cool, which I thought they would have just done a generic one, but it's also hard to do these when you have stuff that could be any sword, any armor. So they have to give you very, generic art. So that was the entire... We went through this entire half of the magic item deck. I don't see any reason to go through the second half. There's a necklace of fireballs art right there, and we've got wings of flying on the back. So again, this just covers uncommon through legendary magic items. This doesn't cover things like artifacts. This doesn't cover things like sentient weapons. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, you'll have to basically make these yourself. I know these templates exist on the internet. You can download them in PDF form and print them out yourself. So that's something that you may want to look into if you're making homebrew items. I personally like the idea of these cards because it's nice to be able to, especially if you have like an Ultra Pro, one right here, one of the Ultra Pro character sheets, right? So this will hold your character sheet. This isn't an ad for that, but it has in the middle here spots to hold cards, which you could put your spell cards, like I have in this specific situation, but you could put your magic item cards in here as well, and then that way you have your magic items. Again, I have a video, it probably needs to be reshot, but I show you how very easy it is to make your own version of that, so you can make it to have as many holders for magic item cards or spell cards, things of that nature. But, I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Is this worth your money? I actually don't know how much these retail for. They retail for $30 US. It doesn't have a version number here on the back, like we had talked about with the spell cards. I'm guessing that's because there's probably only going to be one. The question is, do they... I mean, this is all the magic items. Again, some things you'll have to run into issues with. Again, there's only one copy of the card. So if you're giving out multiple bags of holding or sending stones or whatever the case may be, you need to buy multiple versions of these to give them to all of your players. Again, it doesn't cover sentient items or artifacts. It only covers just the uncommon through legendary. I didn't get to see if they had potions and scrolls, so we might actually open up the other one right now as I'm thinking about it, because that's a section of magic items, and some of the probably one of the more common things you'll encounter would be things like potions and scrolls. So we got here's rings. Let's see, portable hole. Okay, they do actually have potions. So that was something that I was curious about, because I think we can all say that one of the most, regardless of what game you're playing, you'll most likely encounter potions and scrolls within that game. So we can go ahead and actually bring back the camera here and show you guys. So here's the Potion of Animal Friendship. We have that information. Potion of Clairvoyance, Fire Breath, Giant Strength, Growth. There you go. Healing. And it's got all of the different healing types on the back for the healing potions. That one might not have been a bad idea to include multiple copies of. Again, I get it. That's the whole thing, is just include one of each. But we all know that there's going to be multiple potions of healing included at anybody's given table. Let's go ahead and see if they have scrolls in here as well. It may just be a singular one for scrolls, but we'll go ahead and flip through to see. Okay, so they only have one scroll. They have the Scroll of Protection, which is one that anybody can use, that is designed for, after a specific type of creature, and it protects you from them. So that, unless they have one, unless it's called Spell Scroll, which maybe that's the case. Sovereign Glue, Spell Guard Shield. Nope. The Annihilation is just a black circle. Okay, so they do include potions, they don't include scrolls. So that answers that question, which I had planned to end the video, but I thought of it as I was going here. So there you go. I'm curious, would you guys spend $30 on these cards? If so, why? If not, why not? They're good. Again, the tuck box may come apart like all Gale Force 9 tuck boxes seem to do over time. But I think they're good, especially if you give out mostly standard magic items from, contained within the book. They also, as per most of these, because this is more of a DM side of things than it is for a player, they only benefit those of you who play physical games at the table where you can hand these out. Now, you could get these for yourself to have as a player in an online game, but you don't know when your DM's going to give you magic items, so they don't hold as much use as they would for a DM to have these at a physical game where you can say, and you find this necklace of adaptation, here you go, and you hand them the card, and then what does it do? There it is on the back. So I've handed out a handful of these pre-generated magic items to my players in my homebrew game on Tuesday nights, so I will probably be giving those out to my players just so they have them as a quick reference for that. But it's also kind of nice, I think, rather than reading out loud, like, you find a necklace of fireballs, and then you read it to them. I think it's kind of cool to just be like, you find this, and you hand them something. Again, you can easily just do this with cardstock. You could do this with index cards. You could do this with printed paper. But this is a resource that exists for you, and it's officially licensed by Wizards of the Coast. So I wanted to review it for you guys, as I do with everything pretty much Gale Force 9 produces. So I'm going to be reaching out to them about the monster cards as well, and we'll go over those when I get them. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.